full weeks of like tweaking the roster, getting everyone rested. You already see him like kind of putting guys on ice. Like they're like JBC, Isaiah Oliver, and Leaky Fotu are like out until week 1, which means they're going to make the team. Nobody that shocking in there, but it's like we're even pressing these guys who are like in the bottom 7 on the roster. Like we're almost on to week 1 mode. So we're almost done with practice stats and practice stats having any consequence if they ever did. It's healthy, game install, and then how do you sort out some of these final roster spots? But you could see it, coming through from Rodgers and how he's talking about it and how they're starting to handle the veterans. Like, camp's done. Get us to the regular season. And that's why I think this preseason game is going to be very uneventful on Saturday.
It's been an uneventful preseason as a whole, right? I know I didn't jump on with you this weekend. We were joking. Like, what was there to say? I think I jumped off my in-laws' sofa when the Will McDonald sack happened because it was
it's the highlight of the game. That
it was like Moneyball
were the only 2 highlights.
Yeah, it was like Moneyball when Billy Beane like snaps out of the funk and looks up and the home run hit like happens, where you're just like, oh my god, like finally, and it's what we've all been waiting for. Which, by the way, phenomenal, like chef's kiss, Will McDonald, who is a very good pass rusher, working on the rest of his game. It just felt like not much else happened, right? Which we want uneventful Olu reps. We want uneventful Stiggers and Bernard Converse coverage. Like, these are really good things. So, and you're right, Joe. It feels like, and we'll see. And this is a good conversation to have with Zach, and why people should listen to Flight Plan as well. Like, because closer, they're not revealing anything, but the general vibe right now is that they don't really want to use this game as the final tune-up for everyone. That's just the vibe I'm seeing right now.
It's like, let's use I think that's why they did the joint practice. I think their strategies were
probably gonna be a bloodbath, by the way.
We'll use our starters and veterans for the joint practice. Let them beat each other up then. Preseason games, like, we don't care. And like, I think it's going to be, I don't even think we're going to see a ton of Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis in this game.
Why would you run Braylon Allen anymore?
It's just save his carries. There's no reason.
Save his body, save his carries. Yeah. He showed you everything he needed to show you.
He's
spring.
Making the team.
He's getting the ball week 1. He will get the ball against San Francisco.
I can tell, and maybe I'll change these as it gets a little closer, and I'll also be recording our last few pregame podcasts from Ischia or Sorrento while my wife threatens to throw me off a mountain, but I will be doing it. As
Insanity.
She should. I was like talking to my buddies that the rehearsal dinner we're going to is Thursday and the wedding we're going to is Friday. So there's a game each of those 2 nights. Like, the local kickoff time is 2 a.m. And it's just like, are we just going to have to pull back-to-back all-nighters to watch these NFL games? And I'll just have to sleep on the plane home or whatever. But fortunately, I'll be home comfortably before the Monday night game. My point being, my early bets are, and this will be across Underdog, we should sign up promo code Badlands. They just jacked up the deposit match up to $1,000. And there are some tasty season bets in there for the Jets, higher and lowers, that you need to dig into. We'll talk about it a little more next week after we do our final preseason go around. But Jets to cover, the under for the game, whatever Braylon Allen's rushing total is, take the over. I'm sure it will be too low. It will be like 14.5 when I think he's going to get 6 or 7 carries and have like 30 yards rushing, 32 yards rushing. I was originally thinking Rucker receptions over would be an easy one, but he's kind of missed all summer. So I'm a little hesitant on that. I figured it'd be like 0.5 or maybe 1.5, and I felt like he'd have like 2 catches for 14 yards. There's other ones we're going to have to dig on. It does feel like Conklin's being undervalued in most places that I've seen. It's just going to be interesting to see how people try to guess and project how the Jets use their offensive personnel. I will say before we wrap and go to War Room, feels like Mike Williams is on a good trajectory. I think he's going to get team reps soon. I feel like he's going to play week 1. And now the question is he an alien like Breece Hall? Or is he going to play 10 snaps? My guess is it's somewhere in the middle. He probably plays like 27 snaps or something. And he's not really full go until, let's call it the home opener. But I think he's going to play. And he's going to be active. And he'll be out there the first drive of the game. And it's good it's heading in that direction.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Even if you have him just out there, I think is what we're thinking in this scenario. Like, that matters as well. It's just having the presence on the field and the actual threat of him. So I hate doing these podcasts when there's still technically a preseason game left to be played, what I call the bloodbath joint practice. Like, a lot can happen, but besides the Reddick situation, I mean, this is the summer you kind of wanted from the Jets.
Yes.
Right? Like,
yes.
practices have been pretty good overall. Even the bad practices for the offense. Let's not forget the Jets have one of the best defenses in football. The offense should not be just cutting through this defense at will every practice. So the young players, I mean, Corley, it's been a little bit slower, but I think it's been good. And I think that was the expectation for more of a gadget scheme touches kind of player. Braylon Allen, obviously very undervalued in the draft. I'm not taking my victory lap where I had him ranked in my draft rankings, but I am very anxious to do that after 1 year. Because when the amount of misses you have in this business, you got to enjoy the wins. And then, Olu mentally is just in a unique place for a rookie. And I think it's partially that he's with Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. And I think it's just also partially that's who they drafted. So and let's just call it like we see it. Like, pretty good summer for Will McDonald. Are we allowed to say that?
I think he's came on the last 10 days or so where you would say on the whole, there's been good signs and you feel good about the body of work overall.
Yeah, it felt like he kind of whooped up on the Commanders in the joint practice. Then I loved the quarterback hit he had that they called roughing in the game. And then he had a sack in the second game. So if you're doing this if Will McDonald has a sack every other week, we'd be really happy this year, right? I'm not saying, I know it's preseason. Like
8 sacks, I would love that.
I get it. I totally get the people that are skeptical. I understand. But if they can get Reddick back with this team, which is a big if right now, I'm
not feeling good about it. I'm going to talk more about it on War Room, but I went from don't panic to I'm not feeling good.
Like, where is the hope?
We're going to be talking about this after the Niners game, which pisses me off to no end, but it does not feel like they're close.
Yeah, it's weird. The McDonald sack made me so happy because I'm bullish on him, but I hate the responses that are like F Hassan Reddick. Like, no, that's not not how this works. Right. The defense uses multiple edge rushers. Like, this is a problem. It's the starting pitching rotation analogy I can only make so many times. We'll get to War Room. I've clearly had a lot to say on this podcast. We're almost to the season, you could tell.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Another little late Tuesday night drop. War Room on the feed tomorrow. I'll have another article live Thursday, Buck the Trend Friday, and then starting next week, flight plan every Thursday.
Hell yeah.
We'll do some collab episodes next week. We'll do a little home and home to help properly launch it, and season preview guide is the week after, which will also be in War Room. And then we're in season mode, which is our favorite time, at least when the hopes are high, and hopefully that carries out. So thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll talk to you soon.